Thank you, Tim, and good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be with you all today. I'd be remiss not to start off with a very sincere thank you to all of you for your leadership of our Central Florida community throughout these challenging months. Yesterday morning, we had the opportunity to meet with Mayor Demings and his staff to preview our proposed reopening plans for our theme parks at the Walt Disney World Resort. And we're here to share all of that and our protocols with you this morning. I'll take you through our reopening schedule for the ramp up of our theme parks, our approach to the implementation of our health and safety protocols, and the foundation of these efforts, which are established through our focus on education, communication, and engagement. Let me start off with our opening dates. Our plans call for a phased reopening of our theme parks, beginning with the Magic Kingdom and Disney's Animal Kingdom on Saturday, July 11th. Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios will open on Wednesday, July 15th. We believe our reopening proposal for our property reflects a very thoughtful, methodical, and phased approach, and we've incorporated all of the reopening protocols throughout our guest experience and our cast experience. We will deploy a series of soft opening tactics for select audiences several days prior to our July 11th with cast previews and affinity soft opening preview days. This will reflect a thoughtful ramp up in our attendance strategy and allow us to launch, learn, and adjust along the way. We've also established significant limits on our overall attendance for each park and the locations within, along with many enhancements to our safety protocols. We will be also managing our overall attendance demand through a new theme park reservation system that will require our guests to obtain a reservation for park entry in advance. We'll share more details about this component in the near future. All right, I'd like to now take you through our approach to our health and safety protocols. Our overarching objective is to establish and implement enhanced safety protocols for a responsible reopening of our theme parks. We're focused on 5 distinct safety protocols that together will help us achieve this objective. I'll introduce these at a high level, and we will go a bit deeper on the subsequent page. Start on the left, enhanced protective measures. We are implementing increased measures to help reduce the spread of the virus through a layered approach. Examples of these measures include required face coverings for all guests and our cast members, more frequent hand washing stations and hand sanitizer stations, and barriers to facilitate physical distancing. Each of these measures, when aligned and put together, will enhance the safety of our property. From a physical distancing perspective, we are implementing significant reductions in overall capacity, enabling physical distancing throughout the parks. Also, within attractions, retail, and food and beverage locations, we will reduce capacity and implement practices to increase physical distancing. All of these steps will be facilitated by our incredible cast and various physical signage throughout the property, communicating the need for this enhanced physical distancing. From a cleaning and sanitation perspective, building on our existing standards of cleaning, we will implement more frequent cleaning protocols, both on stage for our guests and in our backstage areas for our cast members. From a temperature and health screening perspective, for our guests, we will conduct temperature screening similar to how it has been implemented at Disney Springs. And for our cast, in addition to at-home temperature checks and health assessments, we will also conduct temperature checks on site. Limited contact enhancements is another critical area of focus for us, and we are reviewing cast and guest interactions that have, in the past, required close proximity. We're also reviewing experiences that result in guests or cast touching the same surfaces repeatedly. We're working to reduce the number of such interactions and experiences to minimize contact points. Examples of these enhancements include increased mobile food ordering options, encouraging cashless transactions, and temporarily pausing character meet and greet and play areas. Key elements that support all of these efforts will be our strong focus on education, communication, and engagement, both with our guests and our cast members. We will train our cast to operate in this new environment and familiarize our guests with our new policies and practices so they can learn what to expect before they arrive. We'll have signs and online materials communicating our enhanced safety measures, and as always, our exceptional cast members will engage with our guests to make the experience as real and as magical as possible. On this next board, we'll go just a bit deeper on each of the tactics that we'll be deploying. I won't cover every bullet point here, but I'll share additional key themes within each, starting with enhanced protective measures. As I mentioned, guest and cast members will be required to wear face coverings. We are deploying increased numerous hand washing and sanitation stations for guests and cast members on stage and backstage, with visual reminders emphasizing frequency and importance. We're also increasing our use of plexiglass barriers at points of sales in retail and food and beverage areas where appropriate distancing cannot be maintained. Physical distancing, we're applying appropriate physical distancing requirements and reminding cast and guests to maintain those distance. I made mention earlier to the fact that in managing our theme park demand, we will implement a pre-arrival theme park reservation system. We will significantly reduce the overall capacity of our parks and the facilities within. This includes reducing capacity on attractions and restaurants and retail stores and on our various modes of transportation, which plays a very important role in connecting our experiences together. We will temporarily suspend parades, fireworks, and other events that create crowds. For our cast, we're making changes in the environment of our back of house areas and break rooms, and we have modifications to our facilities to enable physical distancing, whether on lunch or break or traveling to and from various work locations. As I mentioned, with cleaning and sanitation, we have a multi-tiered approach to enhance our cleaning and sanitation with frequent increased cleaning across high-touch, high-location surface areas, on stage and backstage. Again, temperature screening for our guests will be performed at the main entrance arrival points of our theme parks for arriving guests. For our cast members, in addition to at-home temperature checks and health assessments, we will conduct on-site temperature checks as well. Again, on limited contact enhancements, we're also very focused on limiting the number of contacts our guests and cast members must have in the parks. In addition to further leveraging our magic bands for contactless payment, we'll expand our focus on other contactless payment systems. We'll also enable and encourage a cashless environment and significantly expand our existing mobile order platform in our restaurants. We are closing several of our higher touch experiences, again, including character meet and greets, high touch areas such as playgrounds and water effects that may draw gatherings that may compromise physical distancing. Our key focus here as it relates to health and safety protocols is around education, communication, and engagement. We believe a critical aspect of all of these new protocols is the development of strategies and tactics that are focused on education, communication, and engagement. Relating to education, we are developing a series of know before you go communication vehicles, and our objective is to reinforce our health and safety messages to guests before they arrive on our property, so they are aware and prepared for the new environment. Whether through the initial booking of their vacation on our website, through follow-up communication throughout their journey here, or through the My Disney Experience mobile app, we want to make this important information available to guests before they arrive. Communication throughout is a continual thread that will pull through every aspect of our vacation experience. Ongoing communication is critical, and we'll reinforce this messaging throughout. When our guests arrive, they'll be reminded of our safety protocols as they enter our property and at various key points in our parks to reinforce these messages. These protocols will be present and visible throughout our onstage and backstage areas. Engagement is key, and our cast members have always played a key role in the guest experience, and this will be no different when we reopen. We want our cast members to be focused on their own well-being and that of our guests. In particular, our cast members will be trained to positively encourage guests to practice the correct behaviors and demonstrate them themselves. In addition to those performing existing roles throughout the experience, we're developing a social distance squad, a dedicated team of highly energetic and informative cast members who are committed to engaging and inspiring our guests to follow the appropriate guidelines. These social distancing squad cast members were introduced with the opening of Disney Springs and have been a huge hit for our guests and very effective in emphasizing the importance of these elements. We'll deploy dedicated teams in each of our theme parks overall. I'll walk you through just a couple visuals on the types of signage that we'll be using in terms of packaging throughout our onstage and backstage areas. The first is a focus on temperature screening and entrance signage. Upon arrival, our guests will see specific signage reinforcing the enhanced safety and health messages they've heard throughout, including the requirements for entry. From a general safety signage, once inside, our guests will see additional messaging and reminders of the guidelines we expect our guests and cast members to practice. These will be deployed at all locations, retail, food and beverage, attractions, and other places where we expect lines could develop to assist guests in staying appropriately distanced. And then finally, the messaging and the graphics and the signage on physical distance is very, very important. We'll deploy these at all locations in all areas where there is a potential wait and communicate extensively throughout the resort that our social distancing, physical distancing standards are clear. Each of our entry points, each of our queue lines will have these entry signages marked throughout the queue lines and whatnot to ensure that guests have a clear understanding of the distances that we're asking them to maintain throughout their experience while here. So, as you all might imagine, there's been a great deal of work put in to get the Walt Disney World Resort and our cast members ready to reopen in this new environment for our July 11th opening. We've rethought many aspects of our operation to help enhance safety and provide a great guest experience. We're now implementing this work and proceeding with training and development so our cast are ready for the road ahead, and soon we will be welcoming our guests back. We believe this thoughtful, methodical, and phased ramp-up strategy for our property is the right path. Together, we hope everyone will do their part to bring the magic of Walt Disney World back into this new environment. Thank you very much for your time today. I'll turn it back over to you, Tim or George.